Hello, it's Mama Beth and welcome back to my kitchen. That's right, you're back at Mama Beth's world. And it's been a while, but I feel better and I'm ready to get back to cooking. And I thought, what do I want to do? What would be cool to come back with a splash and teach everybody how to cook? And what would probably break the heart of one of my favorite chefs, because if y'all don't know anything, if y'all don't know this about me yet, I kind of like to stir things up a bit. And I love to cook. I like traditional recipes, but I also like to shake things up. You know my motto, it's your food, you play with it. So if you haven't seen the movie Julie&Julia, it's about a young girl who wants to be a chef. She wants to learn to master the art of French cooking, French cuisine. Now, we all know who Julia Child is. We all know her famous voice, and she was a big woman and she tried to lower her voice to make it more feminine. She was married for years, she lived in France, and she went to school to be a chef. One of the most prestigious schools, I believe Cordon Bleu. They didn't even allow women to, go with the men and learn the most difficult dishes. Well, one of the hardest ones, believe it or not, is beef bourguignon, which means beef made in the style of those that live in the area of Burgundy, France. Have you ever made it? Well, if you've watched the movie, the young girl wants to make that. She thinks she's going to finally get to meet Julia Child. I don't want to spoil the movie if you haven't seen it. But go see it. It's a really delightful movie. She wants to make this iconic dish for, the woman that she adores, who doesn't think much of her, doing her recipes and making a blog about it, about how hard it is. And, she's learning her way through life, and she's learning patience, and she's learning to detail and how to pay attention to things and how to work at something and how to not give up. It's more than just mastering the art of cooking. Cooking is about knowing what you need to have to be prepared, to pay attention to the things you have. Make sure you get the best that you can afford, the best that, the recipe calls for. Make sure you're ready, you're prepared. Make sure you know that the oven has to be at this temperature, or the skillet oil needs to be this hot. What kind of oil do you need? She learns more than just to cook. She learns how to be successful and to, enrich her life, much like most of us do. Cooking is one of my favorite things, and it's taught me a lot. My best lessons were learned in the kitchen. I always say that. Well, so I thought, well, I'm going to come back and I'm going to make beef bourguignon. And I'm not going to say Boeuf. So it's beef bourguignon. And as I was going through my recipe, because my recipe is long, it takes 5 hours. 5 hours. Now, if I'm going to spend 5 hours in the kitchen, I'm going to make sauce, I'm going to make a whole bunch of other stuff, because there's cooking time and there's no need to waste. I'm going to have a whole bunch of stuff. So if I'm going to make a dish that takes 5 hours worth of prep, cook time, flip this, drain that, sieve that, it better be Thanksgiving. It better be somebody's birthday. It better be something special. And I'm going to be making a lot of other things, using my other oven, getting everything prepared. So this is a special dish, but this is a special day for me. This is my first video of 2020. And I'd like to welcome you all back. Welcome newcomers. Hit the like, hit the sub, because all my trolls come in here. Y'all know I got a lot of trolls. I'm saucy and they don't like it. So they come in and they'll watch for a second and then they'll hit the dislike button. They'll hit that thumbs down, which still gives me a view. So ha ha, but it's still interaction. But they'll come in and they'll hit the thumbs down and leave, and they don't ever get to know who I am. So I hope you come, sit down, watch what I'm doing. I'm not going to make you wait the whole time. And I'm going to basically make Julia Child roll over in her grave. Because instead of 5 hours we're going to cut that time way down, because look what I got. I know just about everybody I know that cooks, or who doesn't cook but wants to learn to cook, or who doesn't have a lot of time in the evening and they've got a family to feed, they put it in the Instapot. And my husband got me one. I said, I want to try that out. Actually, what I asked for, I said, I need a new canner, because I like to can vegetables and fruits and things. Well, he saw that and didn't know that it wasn't for putting mason jars in. He just knew that it was a really popular item. He thought, oh, Beth will like that. And you know what? I do. I have enjoyed making soups, stews, roasted chicken in it. I have made different kinds of roast. And I really do enjoy my new pressurized crock pot. My Instapot. Who knew? You know, because usually with things, gadgets and stuff, I do a lot of stuff the old-fashioned way. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to try this. And I took my way of making beef bourguignon, and I started looking up, is there a way to make it in the Instapot? Because surely to God, you know, I don't have to do this in 5 hours. The reason that you cook the beef in the stew so long, and then the vegetables you add in, and you know, you cook them very slowly, it tenderizes the beef. It makes it so succulent. And then the gravy that comes with it, because you take the beef out and, you know, and you coat it with the flour. And if you've ever made this, you know it's a pain in the butt, okay? But it is worth it because it's delicious. If you've had this, you'll never eat anybody else's beef stew. I'm sorry. You know, your mama's may be good, but Julia Child pretty much perfected it. Ruined it for the rest of us that had never had it before. Once I ate this, I thought, shoot, I'm never cooking it any other way. But it takes all damn day. Some of us don't have time to do that. We're busy. And, you know, don't knock it till you try it. So I started looking, and I found out that I can do it in my Instapot. I have to make some adjustments. I make some changes. My recipe is different from other people's, and that's okay. You know, Julia Child's recipe is different from a lot of other people's. And you know what? Everybody can't make it the way she could. You go on Epicurious. I love going on there. You know what? I love reading the comments, because you get all these great chefs and they argue. No, you must do it this way. No, that is wrong. How dare you? You know, you think they're going to go fight a duel somewhere over a stupid recipe. But, you know, some of these master chefs, they disagree on things. And that's okay. You know what? Because it's their meal. It's what they're cooking. Play with your food. All right? So I'm going to show you some of the ingredients that are actually all the ingredients that I'm going to be putting in my Boeuf bourguignon in my Instapot. And yeah, sorry Julia, it's 2020, okay? I'm going to get a sip of my Gatorade, because y'all know I'm addicted to Gatorade. Watch me screw all this up, have to throw it out, and start over again. My husband would not be happy. All right, hold on, let me get to my recipes. You know I don't go anywhere without my notes. Okay, first off, you're going to need 1 tablespoon of oil. Now, you can use whatever oil you want, because you're going to be putting your bacon in it, okay? My oil, however, I don't know if y'all save your oil, but for my cast iron pot, I cook bacon in there. You know, I cook my sausages in there. Whatever needs to be fried that will produce a very clear, let me make sure you can see it. I'm not a very good camera woman, and I had a little too much coffee. But whatever will produce a nice clear oil, it's going to have the flavors of everything that you've cooked. Hey, what better? You know, you don't need to use, you know, any special oil in this. You're cooking your bacon, basically, and you're going to drain it off. Okay? Now, you need 6 slices of bacon roughly chopped. This is where my recipe and Julia's differs. She wants block bacon, and she wants it in 1/4 inch, I believe, 1/4 to 1/2 inch slices. Okay, lardons, I think they're called. And she wants you to broil them and then put them back in and take them out, put them back in. I'm not messing with all that. We ain't got time for that. Okay? We're doing this in the Instapot, so we're going to be smart about it. And we're going to use nice, thick cut bacon, center cut. That's what I like. And we're going to use 6 slices, and we're going to chop it up rough. And then 3 pounds chuck beef cut into 2-inch pieces. Now, use chuck. Don't go buying a big thick ribeye steak or anything that you would put on the grill that is going to have a lot of, you know, that you would eat as a steak. You want something that's going to take a little bit of time. You know, something that has to break down and it's going to have a beautiful flavor and absorb all the spices and the flavors of the vegetables. You need that, okay? Especially when we're using an Instapot, because remember, we got pressure and it's forcing it in there. So that beef's going to, if you use a really tender piece of meat, it's going to fall apart. Now, I'm not saying go get old Bessie out in the field and, you know, hunk off something, get a hunk of something that, you know, the dogs can't chew, but you're going to want a chuck roast. Okay, that's what I recommend. And it says 3 pounds. Now, my husband, you know, God love his heart, he got 2 that equal 3 pounds. All right, and I'm going to cut them up into nice chunks and about 2-inch pieces. Okay, because remember, this is a stew. You know, we don't want to be pulling out big old hunks and you can't do anything with it and you have to use a fork. Okay? A true stew should be able to be served with potatoes on the side or over mashed potatoes. And you'll see that in different restaurants. Now, this one, I'm going to add little red potatoes. And it's going to be in there and you can just scoop it out. And you know what? If you want to mash them potatoes up and put everything else over top of it, that's your business. Like I say, play with your food. Okay, the good part. 1 cup cooking wine. Now, what kind of wine? We got sweet wines, we got table wines, we got cooked wines, which suck. I am using Yellowtail. It's just a smooth red blend. Can y'all see that? Wait a minute. Yellowtail smooth red blend. This is a great wine to cook with. I like Barefoot, I like Yellowtail. You know, they're not expensive, but they sure do cook well. You know, I do not like cooking wines. They're basically cheap, and if you go put wine in there, put something decent. You know, don't put in any $100 bottle of wine, but for God's sakes, spend a little bit of money on yourself. You know, at least $10. But anyway, 2 cups beef broth. Now, normally, you all know, I always say, whenever you're making a roast or you're cooking beef and there's not a lot of other things in it, save your broth. Put it in a hefty bag. Let it cool, put it in a hefty bag, and throw it in the freezer. Because for these recipes, you need beef broth. Now, mine's frozen. And it's a lot more than I need. It's a lot more than 2 cups. So I'm going to go ahead and nobody sponsor me. So, great value. Beef broth. It's a little more than I need. You know what I'm going to do with this? I'm going to pour it into a hefty bag and put it in the refrigerator. And then I'm going to mark how many ounces it is so I know. See? Beef broth. We don't have to get expensive to be good. Just like you don't have to put a bunch of sugar and fats. Don't use artificial fats. Natural, that way it goes out. Okay? Don't put a lot of sugar in your stuff. You don't need that. Eat healthy. Remember, herbs don't have calories. Ha ha. But, okay. Then we're going to use 1/2 cup of tomato sauce. Now, y'all know I make my sauce. So, there you go. Then we're going to add, wait a minute. I forgot to put that on here. See? Okay, then we're going to have, let me see, where am I? Tomato sauce, 1 beef bouillon cube. I always keep that in the house. Keep chicken and beef. You never know when you'll need it. Then a 1/4 cup of flour. Okay, now remember, this is going to simmer. It's going to make a nice gravy. It's going to be nice and thick. It's delicious. 2 large carrots. These are big enough. Okay. Then 1 white onion. I'm going to chop this sucker up. I'm not going to make y'all watch me do it either. Then we have our garlic. Now, with the garlic, you can mince your garlic. You can, I'm going to smush my, I put it in my garlic smusher. And I like it that way. It seems to bring out the flavors better than if I dice it. I really like it crushed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take probably about tablespoon worth, crush it up and put it in the Instapot. And then we need 2, why does it do that? Then we're going to need 2 tablespoons of fresh thyme, chopped, or 3 tablespoons dried thyme. I have to tell you a little bit something. Y'all know I'm a St. Olaf stories, and y'all know I talk about my Dee Dee when I cook. Well, I went to looking for my thyme because I didn't think I had any fresh. You know, I try to buy fresh spices, or if he goes to the grocery store for me, I'm always like, see what they got, you know, because we're West Virginia. We don't get a lot of things that y'all get in the big cities. So I'm like, look for fresh spices, see what they've got. And I about cried. I didn't find any in my spice rack over here. And I thought, oh Lord, what am I going to do? I don't have any thyme. And thyme is one of the main seasonings in this you'll taste. I was like, oh no, I'm going to have to just put everything up and wait until tomorrow. And then I'm going to have to ask him to go at lunch or to the grocery store. Well, I got in my big cabinet, my big pantry here. And because I keep extra spices in the back of that. And I found, I have to show you. You know, I took care of my grandmother for 4 years by myself. She was bedridden. Cooked 3 meals a day. Was going to school online. Took care of my daughter. But when she passed away, one of the few things I asked for was her kitchen utensils. But I also cleaned out her spice rack because they were just going to throw it away. I thought, well, some of these are usable. And you know, the ones that were good, that were new, you know, I've used and everything. But the rest, I just threw in a box. Well, I found in that box in the back that I never look in, I found thyme. And I thought, I wonder how old that is. Because she's been gone. This year will be 12 years. And I thought, I wonder if there's any in it. I didn't hear anything shaking. And then I went to the refrigerator, and sure enough, my husband had bought fresh thyme. And I was like, oh, thank you, Lord. As you see, there's the fresh. But I had to wake him up because I had to find something. Because y'all know I like to cook at night. I like to do things, you know, everything's quiet and it's cooler. And anyway, I was looking at the thyme, and I showed him, and I said, this came from Dee Dee's. I said, I didn't even know I had it. And he said, wow. I said, yeah. I said, I thought I didn't have any. I said, I wonder if it even has a smell, if there's any in it. I don't think there's any in it. I opened it up, and it's full. And it still smells fresh, and it's probably 20 years old. Now, of course, I'm not going to use it, but I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it. And I got a little teary-eyed, and I'm a little teary-eyed now. Yes, I'm sentimental. Yes, I miss her. Did she perhaps know that I need it? Who knows? But it'll be on my counter now. I'll have it right there with my little Italian men. But yeah, that got me all teary-eyed. I'm a sucker. I don't cry on camera unless I'm grieving. Y'all know that. Okay. 1 pound of baby potatoes. Now, it's in the middle of the winter. You're not going to find baby potatoes unless you live somewhere that, you know, on the other side of the equator. You know, maybe y'all get baby potatoes, but we don't get them until probably, oh hell, June. But we do have red potatoes that we can get in. So I'll be using red potatoes, and I've got some small ones. Lord, I got teared up. Y'all forgive me. I've got some small ones, and then I got a couple that are bigger, but you need about 1 pound. You don't want too much. You don't want to overcrowd your Instapot. You know, you want it to be able to steam and everything to bubble and do beautiful things. Okay, 8 ounces of fresh mushrooms sliced. I love mushrooms. You know, mushrooms are low in calories too. Mushrooms are good for you. I just knew I liked them. And then we're going to have salt and pepper. Oh, and a bay leaf. That was the one thing I had forgotten to write in when I was transferring from my recipe book to my notes. I thought, ooh, we need a bay leaf. Bay leaf is essential just like thyme, okay? So I'm going to get everything together, and then I'm going to show you the tricks to add it in, and we'll see if I can do this again. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. Maybe I'll screw the whole thing up. Who knows? It may be a mess I throw off the mountain. But I'll be right back. All right, I've got all the prep work done. Now comes the hard part. Well, actually, the not so hard part. I think the hard part is done. Put my contacts in, and now I can't see anything up close. This should be fun. As you can see, I've got my crock pot. No, you can't see because I don't even turn around. Look at there. I've got my Instapot heating. The setting is brown saute. That's what you want to have it on. Okay, let's see if we can have everybody in the shot here. There we go. Okay, this is the first part. This is so simple. Honestly, once you get everything prepped, it's pretty much all gravy from there. So you can sit back and relax and, you know, do some things with the family. And by the time you're done getting homework, you know, straightening up, maybe put in a load of laundry, your dinner's ready. You know, if you can do the prep work the night before, like cutting the meat, like I trim, you know, because it's a chuck roast and it's a heavier meat, you know, it can take some cooking. It's going to have, you know, fat on it, which is great if you're cooking it for a long time and all that fat's going to come down. But I like to trim the fat off of it, and I don't like to get any ligaments or tendons, no connective tissue. I cut all of that off. I want it to be a good, tender meat when we eat it. You know, I don't want it to be falling apart, but I also don't want to go, can't chew through this. So I cut it, butchered up into, as you can see, about 2-inch pieces. It's beautiful. The key to making good beef, if you want a nice braise on it, dry it. You don't have to put a bunch of shit on it. You don't have to put a bunch of salt and pepper and all this stuff on it, unless you're making a dish that calls for that. But if you're grilling, whether you're doing it and inside, outside, whatever, dry your beef and then put it in the hot oil or just on a hot cast iron skillet, 400 degrees. Ooh, baby, that's going to have a nice braise. Seal in those juices, flip it, seal it in. Hey, I like mine rare, but however you like it, get that sear on it, okay? That's what we're going to do in the Instapot. Now, I've got it heating. Once it says it's up to temperature, I'll put the bacon in. And the bacon's going to cook in there. And then I'm going to use my Sally spoon. That's what I call these slotted spoons anymore. Nightmare Before Christmas, y'all. I'm going to use my slotted spoon and get the bacon out because I'm going to add it back in later. But I'm going to use the fat and juices from the oil and the bacon that I cooked in there to sear my meat, okay? Because it's going to be nice and hot. And with that meat dried and already, all I'm going to have to do is stir. And it'll be nice and good. Be good and tender. Okay, it's going to take a few minutes, so I'll be back. Here I've got all my meats ready. You can see I have crumbled up 6 slices of bacon. Just roughly cut them, no big deal. 1-inch, 2-inch slices. Then I've got all of my beef here ready to go in the pot. Now, I don't know how clear you can see that. The heat's coming off of it. Mine automatically sets on saute to 30 minutes. As you can see, it's been ready for 2. So let's start putting the bacon in the pot. Okay, here we go. We put the oil in there. I can't put this exactly over it because of course it's going to steam. Trying to break up the bacon. Look at that. I don't want it all in one spot. As I say, I'm a better cook than I am a camera woman. I'll leave that to my daughter. And I'll move these around so they're more evenly, I guess, spread. They'll cook better. Hear that bacon? I tell you, it smells just as good as it sounds. And I got it all placed so it'll fry evenly. It's gonna be good. God, it smells delicious. Both dogs, of course, come in here running. You know how that goes. It's getting warm in here. It takes about 3 to 4 minutes for the bacon to get fully done. I want it nice, crisp, not overdone. You don't want it. A lot of people like their bacon cooked so that it's almost like hard, that it's brittle. You don't want that for this. You want it done, but you want it to be able to move easily. So you don't want it to crumble. At least every time I've eaten this dish, when I've had it, the bacon just is soft. I know it sounds weird because we Americans like our bacon crisp, crisp, crisp. But remember, in the original recipe, this was actually like a pork rind. You want the flavor, but you don't want that texture. You don't want it to be, you know, something that's been cooked so hard that it's soggy. Okay? Let's check and stir. Oh, it's beautiful. Gonna be good. This is really good bacon too. It's got enough meat on it to where it's gonna stick a little to the sides, so when I scrape the sides, it comes off on the beef and gives a good flavor. But it doesn't have a lot. It's got fat on it, so that gives flavor too. But it's not so fatty that it's just like too much. You all know what I mean. I'm sure you've cooked plenty of bacon in your days. But you can hear it. We're looking at the time. I believe in time and temperature. Remember, if you're cooking and you don't have a thermometer, go get you one. Seriously, Amazon, if you have Prime, free shipping. You can get one for under $10. You can get real expensive ones too. You go to Walmart, Kmart. Is Kmart even open anymore? I'm dating myself. So, but wherever. And they have thermometers, cooking thermometers. So make sure you know what temperatures, you know, you're cooking things to, especially meats. Now bacon, you can look at it and tell. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, yeah. I'm feeling it sticking a little bit. Couldn't get a hold of one. Oh, that's perfect. Now what I'm going to do is take my slotted spoon, and if you can see this, I'm dribbling in my floor. I'm glad I got a carpet down. Perfect. Just a nice light brown. Oh, so yummy. My arm looks huge. Break the camera. Perfect. I'll be back with you in a minute. Okay, here's where it gets a little more complicated. Bacon. Perfect. Look at the color. Remember the color. You should smell it. It's delicious. Okay, we're going to set that to the side. Now, what we have in here, we're getting ready to make magic with. I have stopped it, turned it back on to brown saute. The pot is already hot, so it should be ready to go in just a few minutes. As soon as it gives me the signal, I'm going to start putting these beautiful cubes of beef into the pot. I'm going to brown them on all sides. Once I have them nicely browned, I'm going to take them out and put another set in until I have them all beautifully browned on the outside. That's all I want to do. I don't want to cook these cubes of beef all the way through. That's the secret. You don't want mush. You want them seared. Okay? So you've got this beautiful oil. By the way, did I show you me pouring the oil in? That's good home oil. You can't beat that. Ask anybody's granny. Ask your granny that cooks. Okay? That and the bacon grease, it's going to put a nice sear on the outside of the cube. And then we're going to set it aside. Then we're going to make the good stuff. Put it in. Add our beef and vegetables back. Set it to cook. And it's all done. It'll be ready for when we're ready for dinner. Okay? So, hold on. Y'all know I'm not a great camera woman, but I'm a good cook. Okay, hold on just a second. Okay, let's make magic happen. We're going to take our tongs. As you can see, it's already heated. It's on saute. It's started. That means it's the right temperature. Let's start putting these bad boys in here. This is one of the reasons that you do not want great big humps. You want to keep them 2 inches or smaller. Not too small, you know. You want to make sure you have a nice piece of meat to eat. Now let me stand up. And this happens fast. You just want it browned on all the sides. Okay? Everybody got that? Brown the bits on all sides. You don't want to cook it through. Remember, it's going to be cooking for a little while and cooking under pressure. Okay, that's one side. That took about a minute or so. Give it another minute. See, we're at 28. Time and temperature, people. Time and temperature. Oh, they're pretty. And you're going to have some pieces that have like 3 sides. Because nobody's perfect. And when you're pulling that beef apart and cutting it, you have different shapes. Okay, just a little bit more. And then I'm going to pull all those out and put these in. And just take a minute. So I don't even have to look. Look at that. Nice sear. That's going to hold those juices in. You do not need a paper towel on this plate. How you gonna let Bounty have all your paper, have all your good oils? I'm gonna stand up and do this. My back's bothering me. Pull all of them out. Just takes a minute. Make sure you got good tongs. You know, I lost my tongs when we moved here, and I kept putting off buying them until Rosie was like, if you don't get yourself some tongs and quit burning yourself, because I was burning myself all the time. And I did. I got 2 pair, because I lost the first pair. There we go. Get that beef in there. Oh, it smells so good. Oh, it smells so good. Okay. Give it a minute. See, it doesn't take hardly any time at all. And let me tell you, this is a lot easier than taking it out, drying it off of all the oil, covering it in flour. I'm going to show you what we do with flour in here in a minute. Lord God. This is much easier than 10 hours worth of work. So I'm tickled to death. If nothing else, this Instapot, I can make beef bourguignon in no time. Like I said, the prep is the hardest part. And if you got teenagers, you can make them do that. Oh, so pretty. So perfect. You know what? I had gastric bypassing, so I don't get to eat much at all. But I've always gotten my joy, and I like to eat, I ain't gonna lie, but I've always gotten my joy out of feeding my friends and family. And anybody that knows me will tell you that. So, this is one of those dishes that it takes time and it takes a lot of attention. Even making it this way. I mean, you still gotta prep everything. But, this is something to be proud of. And when the smile comes on their face and they're like, oh my God, this is so good. That's better than eating plate after plate. And for all y'all worried, yeah, my weight's coming down. After I was in the hospital at Christmas, 5 days with C. diff and GKA, Lord, they let me out at 9 o'clock Christmas Eve. And my family was so sweet. I got to see my in-laws, and but my family, my granny and aunt and uncle and cousins, they had Christmas the next weekend for me. We got lots of pictures. We had such a good time. I'm very blessed. Okay, let's see where we are. Yep. Whew. You know, after you've been doing this a while, you can pretty much smell, you know, like, oh, that's ready. Oh, that's a good one. It's ready. Oh, I missed that one. My back's been bothering me a lot. I just want to have to break down and go. See I'm not going on pain management, but I'm wanting to do an ablation on my back, and I really don't want to break down and do that because it only lasts so long. And I have so many friends who had it done and they have to go back and go back and go back, and I just don't want to do it. To be honest, I was getting cortisone shots about every 4 months. That works better than anything. But I don't want to take any pills. I don't want to do any of that. want to be on painkillers for the rest of my life. I just wanted to fix it. Okay, now let's get the, I do believe the last batch in there. And then we get to add the wine, the broth, and whisk in the flour. And it's all going to make this beautiful sauce. It's good. It's too good to be called a gravy. It really is. And now I'm going to put small red potatoes in it. But you can serve this over mashed potatoes. You can serve it with potatoes on the side. I have even seen people make sour cream and chives potatoes and serve that as a side. But I think today I'm just going to put about a pound of red potatoes since they're pretty and I've got them. I have them here at the house, but I let them go to waste. Waste not, want not. Isn't that right? Isn't that what we're supposed to go by? I think it is. And look, we'll have braised all the beef. And you're going to see a little red in the plate. That's okay. Remember, we just seared the outside. That's all we did. It is still uncooked in the middle. We want that. People go, ooh, it's good. That is what makes your stew, your gravy, you know, that's what makes it good. And that's protein. And it's healthy. I know all the vegans are going, yeah. I'm going to do some vegan recipes. If you all have something in particular, my daughter's a vegetarian. And I'm like, send me some of your favorite things. They're all in Spanish. I was like, you little bugger. I said, I don't know what that means. She said, get one of your friends to translate. So I guess I'm going to have to. But where am I going to find the ingredients? So, I mean, really, I'm in the Appalachian Mountains. Where am I going to find banana leaves? You know. But do send me some requests of things of your favorite. I mean, like, you know, I can make baba ganoush and, you know, all sorts of things like that, you know, that we eat, you know, as dips and things. But why is this going on my mind with beans? And anyway, send me some suggestions and I'll make them. Because I like a lot of vegan food too. I was raised, it wasn't a meal unless you had meat. Well, you know, I grew up on a farm. But as I got older, I just started trying new things, and I was like, wow, this is really good. You will never get me to eat beans. Unless, well, I like refried beans, and I like green beans. But you can't get me to eat a lima bean. I do like, different dips that have beans in them, but they have to be smushed and squished and seasoned well. Okay, so that's our last batch. Whew, it's hot in here. Okay, now perfect. Just nicely seared in and juicy and yummy. We'll be done with this in just a second. I'll be right back. Okay, we've put all of the beef in the bacon fat and we've seared it. It took us about 2 minutes to sear each batch. And then I flipped it and took it out with the tongs and put it on the plate. And as you can see, we just have a nice, just a nice brown on the outside. We don't want to overcook it. You don't want to cook through, but there you go. Doesn't it look good? And then we're going to get to making the rest of the dish. All right, I'll be right back. Battery actually went on my camera, so I'm having to use my phone, but I wanted to tell you this is what it looks like at the end. Absolutely beautiful. Now I'm using my slotted spoon, but you can see the gravy's there, and it's nice and thick. I could probably let it boil down a little bit if I wanted to, but nice potatoes, and the meat is very, very tender. So you all enjoy, and that's my version of Instapot beef bourguignon. You all have a wonderful day. Bye.